Hello and welcome to the Thematic Games category in 2026's Board Games Direct. This is just a nippy overview of a bunch of different games so that you might get a chance to look at them if you can't make it to a convention. We've got a whole bunch of thematic looking games for you to peruse, but before we get into it, it's important to mention that these are paid previews, not our usual reviews. Let's get thematic and talk about a whole bunch of board games.
Hello there, has anybody seen my Precious? It looks like this. And I want to put it on my hand. It's Lord of the Rings again, but this time we've got a brand new kind of conflict. That's right. Conflict now in a circle.
A circle of conflict.
More on that
if
later. Let's not talk about nonsense for too long because look, it's a roll and write based on Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, this is a slightly confusing setup that we've got on the table here because this is a roll and write board that every player is going to have one of. Like, this is what these are, bam! And you would normally have one of these perched in front of you like this, or maybe on your lap, like a sort of large book that you're reading.
Or like
a menu.
An interactive menu.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I'd like
some of these, please.
One of those, and the salmon.
And a hobbit for me. So each player is going to have one of those in front of them to doodle on, but we're just going to put one in the middle.
And we've covered up half of this board, so we can put these dice on there.
Yeah, normally this thing is in the middle of the table. Everyone's got one of these in front of you, but we're going to lay it out here to just show you how the game works. So this is a roll and write game with a big twist that we'll get to later on. And as any good roll and write should, it starts with rolling the dice. Please roll these big chunky dice for me, Matt.
Ooh,
wow.
I'll do that to be slightly different.
A little bit spicy.
Got a couple of flags, a ring, and an hourglass.
The ring will move Gollum forward on his special little Gollum track. We'll come back to how that works a little later on. And then each player is going to use the symbols on these dice to fill in spots on their board. Classic roll and write style. How does that work?
Well, show me with a pen, Tom.
I'm going to show you with a pen. One of the dice you'll use on one side of your board, and the other dice you will use on the other side of your board. I'm going to keep it just to here for now. And all of these different sections show you what kinds of symbols they need in order for you to activate stuff on them. So here in the heroes section, you need hourglasses or little tiny striders. And you will use these symbols to cross off boxes like so. And when you fill in the boxes, you get a little bonus.
Congratulations.
Classic roll and write. If you fill in all the boxes on a hero, you get that hero's power. We'll come back to how they work in a little bit. And if you fill in all the boxes of a certain army, here it's Gondor, then you will unlock dice, which means that you will slot their dice into the central pool and only you get to use the results until someone else decides that they're going to ally with Gondor.
They're also allying with Gondor.
Well.
And now they get to roll the blue dice and use the results as well.
And they might even fill it up all the way to the top, which means they get double the dice results from Gondor. They spec hard into Gondor.
Double Gondor.
You can also use these banners or swords down here to fill out these army boxes. And when you get to the top of the army box, dung, 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 you then get to erase them all and you add that much strength into your army. So here I would get 7 whole strength from this catapult because I'm so allied with Gondor.
Well done.
Where do I write that strength, Matt?
You write it on your little army strength board.
On my little army box. Bam, 7.
So yeah, now we know that Tom has exactly 7 Gondors.
7 Gondors.
Currently no Rohans. And elves, who knows?
Elves are flexible.
You're telling me?
Yeah, whenever you take an elf army, you can choose which box you're contributing it towards. The same as the Easterlings on the evil side of the board. I guess I'm going to say the thing now because you're fighting the player to your left.
I'm thinking, okay, well, one player is playing as the free people, another player is playing as the shadow. But that's not the case.
You're fighting a war on both fronts.
Yes.
Because this side of your board is the free people's side. If I had this up here, I got my free peoples on my left, and my evils on the right, and I'm using my free people to fight Matt's shadow people.
Yes.
And I'm using my shadow to fight your good people.
Yes. So basically, everyone's fighting both sides of the War for the Ring at the same time, and effectively trying to just do well at both of them.
Right.
So you're fighting a war on 2 fronts. It's just the 2 fronts are 2 different realities.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm into it.
It works. So as Matt fills in his Mordor box over here, that will increase this army strength, and then eventually we will have a conflict, and whoever has the bigger number is going to win. And you can also kind of up the ante on it as well. You can wager more points on the outcome, which I think is kind of neat. So that's all happening here, and that's where the heroes come into it as well. A lot of these heroes have powers that will make the combat kind of swing more in your favor. Now, all of that is happening, but at the same time, what's going on with our famous Frodus and his friend Sam?
They're probably having a lovely holiday.
They're having a lovely holiday. No, they're not. They're doing their dangerous mission to carry the ring all the way to the big hot bin.
They're doing what they do.
In the same way that you are having a big war fight with the player to your left and your right, you are also simultaneously sending your own little version of Frodo and his buddy across the lands like this, crossing off these destinations as they wander from place to place by filling up this resolve track. And you're also hunting, using the other side, trying to find out where they are and capturing them and guzzling all their hobbit juice for themselves.
And hey, because arguably this game is positing that there's simultaneous realities occurring at once, who's not to say that you can pretend that your hobbits in your free people's land all have bright blue hair?
That's allowed.
Or that Sauron and his minions are all lovers. It's allowed.
It's allowed.
You can do whatever you want in your imagination, in your head.
Finally, you have this little golem.
Sneak Gollum back so you can explain more Gollum.
Yeah, Gollum is going to sort of slink round the edge of this board, and when he gets to certain spots, you're going to get to take a Gollum action or a Schmeagol action. Schmeagol basically is like nice for the nice people. Gollum is bad for the bad people, but it just kind of accelerates the game.
You've just explained and spoiled the entirety of Lord of the Rings in one bad sentence, and I love it.
I'm so sorry. This kind of accelerates the game and makes sure that you don't just get mired in the sort of like, oh no, Rohan has rolled absolutely nothing again. What the hell? And it means that you're going to get to accelerate the course of taking these actions.
The riders of Rohan have rolled nothing again.
They're useless.
Why did we buy them all of the horses?
That is Lord of the Rings, The Circle of Conflict, a big old roll and write where you're fighting both your left and right neighbour at the same time.
The truth is probably somewhere in the middle of the Lord of the Ring.
I don't think you can be a Gandalf centrist.
No. This is Thunder Road Ignition. Woomph.
Woomph.
Ladies and gentlemen, ignite your engines, and possibly friends and foes.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a lot of things to ignite.
Well, I think that's going to be the theme of Thunder Road generally.
Okay, yeah.
So this is a kind of new version of Thunder Road, which has a few key differences. Firstly, it's a little bit smaller.
It's a little streamlined.
A little more streamlined, and looks like a lot meaner in many regards, but also nicer as well.
Yeah.
A confusing time, which it would be confusing to be a Mad Max-style racer trying to exist in these difficult, deserty times.
Yeah, this is representing the hard times here.
Oh, rough times are all.
Oh boy.
So I'm going to give you a brief outline of everything, just in case you don't know about Thunder Road. Effectively, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be rolling these dice, and then you're going to be choosing which dice represent which of the three types of flavors of vehicles you have. A large one, a medium one, and a little one.
The little baby one.
Then you're going to put the dice into those car slots, and you're going to be able to activate the different cars, moving them up the track.
Yeah. With a crucial thing being that if you ever have cars on the same space, they have a bit of a bumpy action.
It's bumpy style, which means you roll dice, and then that car is going to move somewhere else. So the car at the bottom is going to go there. Oh no!
Looks like there's another bump.
Another
happening.
bump. The car at the top is going to go there.
Oh look! Wasn't that nice?
Lots
It's a
of
nice
bumpy
little
things.
simple bit of bumping.
You can have combinations of bumping happening again and again and again until usually it ends with one person being sad or a car having been exploded off into a wall, out onto a minefield, or whatever. You know, chaos. If you've ever seen Mad Max or played Rock and Roll Racing on the Super Nintendo,
It's here.
It's here.
They made it here.
It's here. Check out Rock and Roll Racing on the Super Nintendo. That's my hot video gaming tip.
And normally when one of the cars gets blown up, that's it for them.
Yes, usually in Thunder Road, that's like you've lost a car, you're done.
You're over.
In this, however, you have these pit stops, which means basically whenever you lose a car, it's out of the race until the next round, then it appears in the most recent pit stop. And also the race track is much shorter. You can see the end of it is slightly out of the big camera here. How far can I push it? That far, precisely. Wow. When you get to the end of this, the game is almost over, basically. You get two of your cars over this finish line, and then that's it, you've won. So you don't have the kind of ever-expanding, constant road of Thunder Road where one person either gets knocked out of the game completely, or one person finishes the finish line. In this, it's much more trying to push things up, having your cars be completely blown up, but then respawning.
It's also got a slight curve to the road as well.
They've added curve. I didn't know it was possible, but they've added curve to desert.
And you can actually add the curves to your base game of Thunder Road. You can combine this with Thunder Road as well if you want to include some of those curves, some of those pit stops, some of those new hazards on the board.
They've got some new hazards, some new weapons, like you can just fire a rocket and just hit anybody now and cause damage. I really like this new tile, which is one of the little bumpy, literally just bumpy road tiles. These are fine, they don't do anything unless you drive into them with your car having some damage. So if your car is slightly damaged, then it's a problem, But if your car's not damaged, it's completely squeaky
cruise
clean.
on by.
You cruise through that. I like that.
I
That's
like
a nice little treat for keeping your car in good order. And the other thing I quite enjoy is one of the new tiles is this little like crazy omni jump ramp thing. You drive into that and you just roll the dice and you're going to jump off a few spaces in any direction, which means maybe you're moving forwards, not anymore. Now you've jumped over there.
That's classic Thunder Road.
It just seems like a version of Thunder Road, as far as I can tell, haven't played it, that just crunches up all of the cars into one space constantly. So if you like things bashing into each other and exploding and having hubris and chaos, there's going to be more of that here, but also less upset because cars are not dead forever.
They took Thunder Road and they just kind of went...
Yeah, they squished it, but I don't know, that sound kind of implies some like a nice gentle gloop. This is definitely a kind of, but with like explosions and shards of glass.
Kind of crunchy, like a...
Well, that was kind of Donald Ducky, but I liked it. Yeah.
That's Thunder Road
Ignition.
It's a balmy 1960s summer in Pork Springs, and you and your piggy partner are going round the pool, chatting with local bigwigs, and generally engaging in the art of schmoozing. That's right, it's Cultured Swines, the art of schmoozing. I say that's right like anything about this game is immediately apparent.
Oh, to be young again. Yeah, you're basically a couple, and you see there's all these little piggy couples going around, and the idea is you've been invited to this soiree, and I've got to say off the bat, I really love the fact that a lot of the rules of the game, the little helper cards, are designed to be little like invite menus, like a very fancy party, very horsey-torty.
They've got a pairing menu, which is like actually a gameplay thing, but also it's just a funny little set of words.
So it's a game you play in teams.
You play in teams.
As couples who are going around trying to basically make the best impact on the high society people.
Absolutely.
And how do you do that as a couple? How do you basically be a power couple? You have to be aligned with one another.
Oh yeah, that too.
You have to be on the same team.
So a round of this game is quite straightforward. You're going to be doing 3 different phases, and the first phase is mingling. And in the mingling phase, you'll see that each of our teams, represented by these little player colour piggies, are at a different table talking to a different guest. And before this happens, you're going to take that card and you're going to socket it in the top of your player board. We can see Matt's got sort of half a player board.
Here's one I did earlier. I flipped my player board in half so you can see what's going on over here. But basically our card here is Association Golf, which means we have to basically align on these in terms of which of these words do we think is mostly connected to golf off the top of our heads. So we've got caddy, tennis, club, and bogey.
And you do that using these little wager tokens you can see here that have the corresponding letters. And you, in real time, you're going to put these in order on your little player board, face down, where you think that you and your partner are going to align. And you're doing this whilst every other couple around the table is doing the same thing in real time, trying to do it as fast as possible.
So I might have gone, for example, on this one, I might have gone, oh, I think that the thing I associate most with golf is club, golf club.
There you go. And did your partner think the same?
My partner thought the same thing. C and C, that's a match. Ba, 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 ba. But that doesn't really do anything, did it? Because we didn't actually wager on being correct.
Correct. You are doing, in this sort of real-time section, you're also wagering where you think you've aligned by pushing the tokens into that little central strip. Because every time you align and you wagered that you would align, you're going to score a point. But if you wagered that you would align and you didn't align, you're going to get a negative point. So maybe sometimes the best thing is to not wager that you're going to be alike at all.
So in this instance, we were very confident that we were both going to think club was the #1 association we have with golf, so we get points. We weren't confident about this second one, so that's good, because we didn't lose points.
Yeah.
And then this one, it's a bit of a mess from here on out.
It's a bit of a wash.
But what I like about this is the fact that all of these 4 different colours of card, blue, yellow, green, and red, or pink? Pink. Let's say pink for pig. Pink. Are all kind of slightly different things.
Yeah, so the pink ones is like which word has the most in common with these ones. The green ones are philosophical. They're sort of designed to, what's the
classiest sport?
Really loose definition of the word philosophy there, but the game does say that they're the Philosopher's Club, which I think is delightful. And then yellow is an art society, so you have a sort of painting, a piece of art, and then you have to think about what it makes you think of the most.
What's the word that this art make you think?
Yes,
as I always say when I'm in gallery.
Again, all of this is in real time. Why is it important you do it quickly? Well, because once you've done your wagering, you're going to rush over to the buffet table.
Yes, you have to. You get in the queue for the buffet.
Absolutely. This will resolve right at the end of the round, so I'll explain that then. But before we get to that, you'll then score based on your little wages. And when you score, you move up both at the table you were just at. So I think you were just at table 4.
I'm on table 4, so
let's say
I increased my table standing.
Using this little blue cube, that little disc is an endorsement. And if you ever reach the threshold, so if you get to 3, you take that endorsement, and that's going to be points at the end of the game.
I got an endorsement.
Or if you get 5 endorsements from across the board, then you're just going to win instantly.
Right.
So you can do that, you go up at the table, but also you'll go up at that specific society.
Right, so I've got points with the book club.
And the book club, so let's say you got 3 points, you'd go up here, and again, you could take that endorsement, and they're worth different numbers of points in different games.
Ooh.
After we've done all of our scoring, you're then going to go over to the buffet, and you're going to get a food and wine pairing, or a food and drink pairing, which will get dealt from the deck. So here we have a nice little sort of boba tea looking
boba
thing,
tea.
and a oyster.
I mean, there's 2 combinations of kind of slightly gloopy things there.
Yeah, curious. If you're at the front of the queue, you get first dibs on whether you want this pairing, and if you don't, it gets passed down until someone must take it.
Someone has to eat it.
And then that person will then take the food and drink pairing, they'll put it on their board for later, and then they get to choose which table they then want to go and sit at. So there's an advantage to picking the first thing, because it means you get to pick who you're going to converse with next.
Yes.
But ideally, you're trying to get matches of food and drink. So here, this lemon ginger kombucha obviously pairs beautifully with a deviled egg.
Ooh. I mean, sure, why not?
The different pairings do different things. So
I could really go for one of them right now.
Really?
It's likely we're going to have a Tesco's meal deal, and I think that sounds better.
Than anything Mr. Tesco has to offer?
Probably.
You're crazy.
I'm sorry, Mr. Tesco.
We wouldn't align.
But we all know it's true.
If one of these sort of categories was Tesco meal deals, we would not align. I really like some of the specific pairings you can get, like eavesdropping lets you look at 2 of the cards. You can kind of work out if it's a conversation you even want to have, which is very nice. Networking lets you kind of move up different tracks than the one you're actually on, which is very cute. You can also get party favors that just get you points at the end. Lots of nice little details here. And that is a quick overview of Cultured Swines, a game of schmoozin' piggies.
This is a night at the zoo. And as far as I can tell, this box does not contain Ben Stiller.
Not yet. Wait for the Ben Stiller expansion.
or wait for one of us to have a very serious breakdown.
Yeah.
Now we've set this up in a slightly confusing way because this is just one player board here. This would be a shared market of tiles that we'd be taking turns to take, but usually we would have our own player boards in front of us, but for the purposes of illustration, Tom has very sensibly just set up one player's setup here so that you can see how the game works.
But in a regular game, you'll have your own.
Yeah, unless you're being mean and like making everyone else watch you play.
Or if you're holding it up vertically and all the tiles are sliding right off it and you're going, ha ha ha, you're bad at the zoo.
You're not invited to game night again.
No, not again. This is a little tile placement, sort of slidey little puzzle game where each player is going to have their own little zoo and they're trying to guide the animals back into the zoo after they've gone for a little wander at night. They've gone for a huge night out on the town with all the snakes and the sloths. They're living at large.
Beautiful.
Each of your turns is very straightforward. You are simply going to choose one of these tiles in the market and then place it onto any eligible space on your little player board. And when you place it, you'll take the action on the tile. So this would give me this little binocular action and the take a little bonus tile action. Which is
that both or an and/or?
That's an and/or.
It's an and/or. I caught it.
It's just or. It's not and.
It's not and. It's just
or.
I just like saying and/or.
And/or.
Good TV show.
So you would take the actions on the tile that you placed, which often involve either releasing new animals ready to be moved around into the zoo, placing extra tiles onto your board, or most importantly, moving those animals along your little network of tiles with the ultimate goal of getting them back into the zoo in the middle.
Beautiful.
Now, there's a little rub here because all of these animals move slightly differently. So not only do you need to assemble them a path to the zoo, but they move in different ways. Let's start with my favorite one, the penguin. Whenever the penguin moves, it slides as far as it can to the furthest possible tile.
Just like in real life.
Just like in real life, which means it moves very far, but it's also only worth 5 points if you get it back into the zoo.
It's easy, they just slide right back in there.
Exactly.
No questions asked.
Woo! On the opposite end of the spectrum, you've got the sloth, and the sloth, whenever they get a movement, they move one space, and then they fall asleep.
Yep.
And then once they've fallen asleep, they need a whole movement point just to stand them back up, but if you get them to the middle, they're worth a whopping
15 points.
That's crazy. Now, here's the secret sauce, the real secret sauce, the double mega rub. Not only do these animals all move in different ways, but there's a kind of universal movement that you can get access to, which is if you discard a tile, you move every animal on that kind of space according to its movement rules.
Okay.
So you can set up some really gnarly combinations where you manage to get every single animal on one of these yellow tiles, and then you draft the yellow tile from the market.
Woomph.
Boom,
Woomph.
boom, whee! Just like that.
Beautiful. You
Where's
just got
he-
two
where's he
slots of
going?
it. Yeah,
Where's
he'll
he
get
going?
there. They'll find their way.
They'll find
their way.
In addition to this, the tile that isn't chosen by any player on any given round goes in this sort of bottom row down here, and when that's full, at the end of a full round, the most common colour of tile will act in that same way and let everyone move a thing that many spaces. So you can kind of predict that's going to happen, and then maybe sort of seed your animals to get a bit of free movement. It's lovely stuff. There's 6 animals, I think, in the base box. You've also got this cheetah and some butterflies and some wolves that all work in different ways.
You're telling me.
And in addition, you've got the latecomers box.
Yep.
That's got all sorts of gnarly creatures.
You have got alligators.
Alligators. I think they eat other animals, maybe?
I was expecting the words of the animals to be on the back, but I'm just looking at the pictures.
And you're
I'm
trying to work
struggling.
it out.
I do know them. I think it's a lemur.
A lemur? A lemur.
A meerkat, and an alligator crocodile.
That's basically right, yeah.
But I mostly just spent about 5 seconds staring at a picture of a crocodile before I could say the word crocodile.
Did you hear that the crocodile eats other animals? Did
No.
I say that? Yeah, they chomp other animals, and they get you points if they do.
Huge is true.
And then like the monkeys move in these weird little patterns that you have on their special
Oh,
abilities.
okay.
Lots of stuff to love in there.
A lot of funky stuff. Very pretty, very colourful. And the logo glows in the dark.
Yeah, it really surprised me when I put the game away. I was like, whoa!
Night at the Zoo.
Night at the Zoo.
Coffee Rush Winter Edition. This is a kind of remake, reskin, if you will, but reskin feels like the wrong terminology for something that is this delightfully wintry and Christmassy.
It's so Christmassy. It feels wrong to have this out in the height of summer.
I'm not going outside for the rest of the year just to keep in my mind the idea of Christmas until Christmas is readily baked and pops out into reality.
They feel wintry immediately.
Some of the illustrations on these cards are absolutely delightful.
So delightful.
There is a card which is affogato, which what they've done, affogato, as you might know, it's coffee and ice cream.
Yes.
I won't embarrass myself by going into a cafe that was called affogato, not knowing what that meant, and saying, hey, could I have like an espresso shot over some ice cream?
And they were
like, yes.
Buddy.
They didn't call me on it, and I wish they had done, because I thought I was a genius.
Should we look at the
But
affogato?
this affogato, look at that. He's affing a good time.
He's melting to death.
That's not a nice way to put it. Anyway, this is Coffee Rush Winter. Please, Tom, tell me about the game.
This is a game in which you are making orders for customers, and you're going to try and get them their drinks on time, because if you don't, they're going to be a little bit peeved at you. And most of what you're doing in this game is going around this grid, collecting ingredients to put in these charming little plastic cups. I'm going to put a bit of water, ooh, the noise, and a little bit of orange in this one. Isn't that delightful?
I'm going to put some tea leaves into this one.
Wow.
And some chocolate, because I don't respect the laws of good taste rules.
The way this game works is super simple. On your turn, you are going to first move your piece around this grid. You get to make 3 orthogonal moves. So I might go here, here, and here, and you pick up the things that you step on. So I would get some ice, some coffee beans, and some milk. And those ingredients you will then place into your cups in the next step of your turn, which is the collect step, where you go, and you put them all in, and now I've got a nice little drink.
Congratulations, Tom, you made a drink.
I've made an iced vanilla cafe latte.
I'll say.
Which means I can then take this card, I can dump out the drink into my customer's waiting mouth, and then I score this card and I get some points. I get 2 points for a filled order.
Okay.
If you don't manage to fill the order, it'll cost you a point, but you get these little cookies, which will let you move around the grid a bit faster. There's a little bit of a catch-up mechanism.
Yeah, I do like the fact that if you fail to make an order, then you
Have a
do
little
get given a
gingerbread
cookie,
man.
which does give the impression that maybe like you are somebody having a slight breakdown in your cafe, and the person who's come
Yes.
in was like, do
know
you want a
what?
biscuit?
This one's on me. You also will get, though, you'll get those cookies as well if you make a really good drink, like an iced yuja tea or this green tea. They're off the specialty menu, they'll give you extra. You can also, throughout the game, you can spend the orders that you have fulfilled in order to flip over these upgrades. That might get you another person on the grid, give you some flexibility, allow you to double collect ingredients. And these are slightly varied from game to game.
Okay.
There are 6 different ones, you'll only have 4 of them on your board. Other people might have different ones. And the other thing that I kind of like is whenever you finish an order, you give your opponents more orders. So they start stacking up over the game. And if you rush a load, then you can be really mean and make
So
sure
it's
your opponent has
a
loads to
passive aggressive kind of cafe.
fill. It is a passive aggressive
When like every
cafe.
time you successfully serve a coffee, eight
manager's
people
like,
appear across
why
the
aren't
road.
you like that?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting,
little bit of spice
Christmassy
there, right?
and delightful.
Yep, that's Coffee Rush Winter Edition.
Sniper Elite, the board game, has got a cracking new expansion.
And it's called Operation Kraken.
Kraken!
It's a big squid.
It's a big squid. If you're not familiar with Sniper Elite, the board game, I'm going to tell you how the base game works, and then we're going to talk about the cool stuff that's been added into the Operation Kraken expansion.
I can already see
some of that already.
a little bit of that. That's
Armored vehicle.
That's Chekhov's APC.
Okay, I see. The way this game works is pretty straightforward. You've got two kinds of players in this one. You've got a sniper, here he is, on the board, who's playing a hidden movement game.
And ostensibly, he's the goodie.
He's the good guy.
Because the baddies in this are your favourite historical fascists, the Nazis.
You, as the sniper player, are going to be tracking your hidden movements on this hidden movement board using a dry erase pen.
It's glossy.
As pictured.
You got a pen.
Scribble away.
You can draw things. But where am I? That's not exactly how you do it, but that's an artist's impression.
So you're going to be moving around the board trying to keep yourself a little secret because you have objectives to fulfill, as shown on these cards, and if you manage to do your objectives, then you win. All the while, you'll be taking pot shots at these Nazis over here, hanging out in this Norman village by pulling tokens from a bag, hoping to get a certain number of hits and avoiding misses.
And every time you take shots at people, you're sometimes putting things back into the bag when you get successful, confirmed kills, but sometimes you're just making lots of noise.
Sometimes you're making a real
and
racket.
the Nazis are just sort of gradually going, was that?
Yeah.
Alarm! Alarm! That's just a little
You've
fun.
played the Sniper Elite video
That's,
games, I
that's
see.
actually Commandos series. Something, a little joke there for the dads.
Little joke for the dads. The other side is trying to track you down by wading across this board, performing sweep actions, which give you kind of approximate information as to where the sniper might be hiding, and spot actions, which is like, he's over there, which adds these noise tokens into your bag, makes it harder for you. But if you manage to get confirmed kills on these little guys, then you get to put more accurate tokens into your bag.
So that's Sniper Elite.
That's the base game.
It's the hidden movement game, and now we're looking at what it adds.
The
and again,
expansion.
we know what it adds partially. Little armored vehicles.
Little armored vehicles. You can hop into these vehicles, and then you put them on these little cards to show that they're being protected by a big armored truck. Makes it harder for you to kill your units. Lets you move them around the board faster in this little Norman village map.
And it does tend to be the point of cars.
Yes, we're burying the lead here. The main addition are these two maps. You've got the Norman village here, which adds these armored vehicles, has a kind of like lots of spots for them to hide, but also they can move around with these vehicles. And then the other side has an aircraft carrier, which we shall star wipe to right now.
Wow!
The aircraft carrier map.
It just appeared.
It just appeared like magic. This one is set over multiple floors, as you can see here. It's got big old reinforced walls that you can't shoot through. It's got little ladders to climb up to higher levels. It's got little air ducts to sneak around, Metal Gear Solid style. And it also has, I forgot to put these on the board, it has locked doors, these little tokens here, which you might want to try and bait the Nazis into opening so that you can slink on through. Or you might use the new special equipment, like explosives or bolt cutters, to go loud or go quietly into the little areas that you might not be allowed into normally.
Sneak around on a boat.
That's Operation Kraken. And finally, there's a tiny little extra box.
Oh!
Look how dinky it is.
That is hilarious.
They shrunk a sniper.
Oh.
This is Escalation, which adds new ways of playing the existing maps, like a sort of series of different missions you can go through, as well as advantages for each side, so you can have some like varied setup to add some new life.
Just
to
adds
the
a bit of
maps you've
spice to
played.
the base game maps.
Yeah, a little bit of spice, a little bit of
Oh,
zhuzh.
this tiny box is hilarious. It's like when you get, you remember when you get a bag of crisps and put it in the oven to make a tiny bag of crisps.
Yes,
it's a bit like
My
that.
Sniper Elite. They also added a little dog.
Oh my.
Looks like a very big squirrel on camera.
I feel
here,
like there
doesn't it?
were dogs in the original game. I definitely got caught by dogs.
Here they are.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
This is your dog, though.
Oh,
A nice,
oh,
good dog that you
sniper
can send in. It's sniper
dog.
Yeah, it's good.
Sniper gets 3D dog, Nazis get flat dog.
As it should be. That's Sniper Elite, the board game. Operation Kraken. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's a man in a green metal suit who's bald and he's beating up the other guy.
I don't
in his
know why
special red
you
suit.
thought he was a bird.
No, why do you think that, you silly
How
Billy?
many green bird have you seen today?
That's right, it's Lex Luthor, the star of this box, that also has Superman in it.
Yeah, this is a game called Brave and Bold.
Bag building game.
But the and is a star.
oh,
Yeah, I don't know if the and's always a star or just on this box. But I'm feeling brave, I'm feeling bold, and I'm ready to batter heck out of Superman.
That's so... ow.
Sorry, that was mean.
As the title might suggest, this is a bag building game where you can pit your favourite DC superheroes and supervillains against each other in a fight to the death.
Got your DCs, we got your supers.
We got all
the flavors you can possibly enjoy.
And yeah, we're going to be pulling things out of a bag, we're going to be placing them onto our boards, and then we're going to be filling up these things that allows us to activate powers, attacks,
Yes,
cool
absolutely.
things,
Yeah.
and then fundamentally, one of us is going to lose because we have these little little sliders.
Little health dials.
I've got this little dial with
How much health do you have?
Lex Luthor looking very, very
Little bit.
conspiratorial.
A little bit peeved, maybe.
Well, according to the numbers I've set this to at the moment, I have 71 health, but I think
that
that's...
seems like quite a lot.
I don't think that's probably what I do have.
Each round of the game is fairly straightforward. You're going to pull tokens out of your bag, simultaneously placing them in your little current draw pile.
Yeah, my current
over
draw
here.
pile is hidden underneath the box.
Yeah, apologies that mine is like incredibly messy, the amount that I put in my supply.
I'm just going to put mine here so people can see.
But you're going to grab those tokens, you're going to put them in your current draw pile. But if you draw too many of these crisis tokens, which look a little bit like this.
Yeah, they go into your little crisis meter slot down here.
They do indeed. And if
then
you fill up on crisis meter, then you have a crisis.
You have a bad turn.
A bad turn. A bad turn where not much happens because you're too busy fretting. I guess that's what happens. But if you don't do a crisis, you're going to get to use all of your abilities to do fancy stuff. If you manage to get them all the way up, if you get all the requisite tokens, then you can activate the ability at the end, which will do a load of different stuff, like dealing damage directly to your opponent, doing unblockable super special damage that they can't even defend against in any way,
Woof.
and also a bunch of icons that are specific to your player character. So that's the main point of differentiation between the two of us, is that we're going to have a completely different set of abilities and icons.
So I can see already I've got like the ability to look at the challenge deck and basically see what's going to happen in the future to make things easy for myself. I've got Mechano Man. I can basically just use robot people.
to do your
to do my
heavy
evil
lifting.
bidding.
And you've got, look, nice little tokens for them.
I do. I've got, that's my Mechano Man. That's my little plaster for when Lex Luthor's had a boo-boo. And then this, I believe, is my like fourth dimensional fist glove thing that I can use to just punch Superman into a different reality
Into
in his
oblivion.
face.
Superman, on the other hand, is just generally pretty good. He can heal himself because he's covered in the sun. He can go real fast. He can use these little fancy, I don't quite know what these are, strange little circuit board looking tokens.
Super guffs.
Heightened senses, which let you do even more damage. And as well as this, there's kryptonite. Bad kryptonite.
Yeah.
So at the end of each round, you can buy stuff to put in your bag. You can get better tokens, so you can build out your bag and have more of the stuff that you actually want. And one of the things that you can always do if you're fighting Superman is you can put some kryptonite in his bag, which counts as 2 crisis tokens when you draw it, but it costs you a pretty penny to do so.
So you're really trying to just time them out. Superman is going to biff you into oblivion, but if you can just hold off for long enough, then maybe that blasted kryptonite will start to really gunk up his engine.
Yeah, absolutely. Lex Luthor's got some unique tokens as well. He's got these fancy LexCorp ones that can build
Yeah,
up
I'm
for
doing
his big
research
ults.
into the power of the totality.
Yeah, I've always said that about you.
That's what I say at barbecues when people ask me, what are you up to these days? You still doing that board game thing? Nah,
I'm actually doing some totality business.
researching the power of totality at the moment. Then I'm going to go for some world domination.
The power of the totality will also allow you to have like wild tokens you can put in your bag. So Lex Luthor's sort of more of a schemy, planning type dude. Superman's more of a punch them directly in the face and try not to get too sleepy.
Yeah.
From the kryptonite.
Which is genuinely quite relatable.
It's very relatable. That is Brave and Bold Bag Building Combat Game, and you can get a whole bunch of other different superheroes if you want to mix and match.
Because these are the boxes, they like fold up.
Yeah, we should have probably led with that.
It's okay, we can do it at the end. I'm doing it now. It's fine. Look, it's nice. The little boxes that you play with are the boxes that you get the box.
Using the power of magnets.
It's very warm. I can't speak. Spooktacular. This is a pun of the word spooky and the word spectacular. And as far as I know, it's a game where there are real monsters coming out of movie cinema films into a cinema.
Into a cinema.
Where they are scaring the heck out of human beings, represented here by meeples. And they're also sometimes just eating human beings.
Yeah, sometimes there's a little bit of eating going on. It's not very nice.
Well, it looks nice to me. But then, I love eating and scaring humans, so I'm not the best judge here.
Shall I tell you about how this game works?
Please.
This is a game where you play as movie monsters terrorizing a whole movie theater of brightly colored meeples. And the way you're going to do this depends on which of the many, there are so many different movie monsters you choose to play as. Look at all these ones we got. You can't even see them. They're off camera. Look at all of these movie monsters you can play as. There's so many. Here is a small selection that I've got in my hands, and there's even more. We'll talk about those in just a second, but before that, I'll talk about some sort of general actions that are available to all of the different monsters.
Yep.
You're gonna be moving these monsters around the board through these doors from area to area. You're gonna be playing cards from your own personal deck. You'll have some basic cards and some special cards, depending on what monster you're playing, with the eventual goal of spooking the inhabitants of any given room, which means you move them into adjacent rooms depending on how many doors there are. So here there's 4 doors in this room, so if I was in here, I could scare 4 different people.
That's the optimized frightening.
It really is. There's only 3 in here, but I'd move them into adjacent rooms and I would score spook points. Don't know if they're actually called spook points.
I love it though. What do you get with spook points? Spook prizes.
Yeah, that's true, because if he gets 50 spook points, you get the ultimate prize, winning the game.
Oh.
There'll also be opportunities to devour these poor moviegoers, and you will take them off the board, you put them in your own little personal area, and if you devour enough of them, you get a shiny ticket worth some points. So that's a kind of more efficient way of doing it, I suppose, in a strange way. And that's also how you then repopulate with more people from the bag. Because the color of them matters for collecting those sets, might also matter for certain abilities. Let's talk about those abilities, because there's a whole bunch of them. Matt, I'm gonna give you a little demo of all the different movie monsters that are available in this game.
Give me a little taste of what kind of a monster I could be.
This is just a little selection, but they're the ones that I went through and went, wow, these are delightful. And the one that made me go, wow, these are the most delightfulest, is the Beasts of Business.
The Beasts of Business.
They introduce the concept of having scareholders, which is around this little track here, you can see these sort of digitized screens that look like a sort of stock market ticker.
Oh yeah.
Every time it's the Beasts of Business's turn, if you're on one of their little markers, an effect happens. So the tick is that the Beasts of Business themselves get some spook points. If they're on this one, then the Beasts of Business get to devour 3 guests. These ones are little zones where you gain and lose points if you're in them, and they can just freely adjust these like every round and be like, everyone who's here is gonna get some points, it's business time.
So they turn the score track into a stock market.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great.
It's beautiful.
Yep.
I really enjoyed Chortland Charles, who is this scary clown whose ability is they can actually spook other monsters, which I think is delightful.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, I enjoy Deadline as well, whose whole thing is that you have these phones that you act through. You scatter them around the board, you don't move them like normal, you just have phones that you like go
and you ring and people walk into the room.
Someone maybe picks up.
Whoops.
The Angler can add new doors to different places so they can increase the spooking capacity for everyone around the table. New wet doors. You've got Rigu, who I've clustered over here for cinematic effects, but there's a whole bunch of little gooey globules that kind of traverse the map. It's like a little independent thing. You got the Killtron, who's a robot who, look, you can see his little laser beam vision. A robot who you have to pre-program, rather than the other ones where you get to just do whatever action you want. The Killtron, you have to program him to go around and hoover up some people.
Fun.
Also, that acts as the solo mode opponent, which I think is really funny. They just made one of the monsters also a solo mode. And then finally, you have the Hell Chef, the chef from hell, who has a delightful range of dishes that he can cook using the people that he scares.
Gordon Ramsay's in the game?
Gordon Ramsay's here, and this is his Hell's Kitchen.
Beautiful. I wonder what we'll be eating and serving today. And you said there was a whole bunch of these different playable things.
Yeah, there's tons of them. There's like loads more in here. There's like a TV host. There's like a car that you can just put in there if you want, or a sort of weird little creepy. Look at this.
There's a lot happening here, in a good way. This feels like a kind of evil junk food version of Spirit Island.
Look how scary this little thing is.
Yeah, that's
It's coming out the floorboards to eat you.
I don't like that. I thought I was old enough to not be scared of monsters anymore, but
now
now
you are.
I'm scared of monsters again. And that's Spooktacular.
Boo.
Ah! Did it seem like I was scared?
Yeah, no, look like you were actually scared, yeah. Good.
I've been practicing my acting.
It's really good. You did a great job.
This is Disco Heist Laundry, a game in which you are going to be stealing money and then laundering that money in this innovative new form of crime I've heard about. Sounds brilliant. Tell me more.
You put all the crime into a washing machine to get all the grubby stains out.
Can you do it at 30 or does it have to be 60?
It has to be 60.
Bio or non-bio?
Up to you.
Great.
This is a game where you're doing big crimes, huge heists, trying to get as much money as possible. The money is their points. In this game, you can see it on this little score tracker that's just on the edge of reasonable camera space. Whoever has the most money at the end of the game, successfully laundered money, is going to be the winner. But how are you going to do that? You're going to use cards to do that, Matt. You're gonna play them from your hand. You can see there's a whole bunch of different playable characters with their own unique little card backs.
I'll hold some back here. We got these people.
Look how suave they all
person.
look. I'm playing as this guy.
Oh.
He's got a cigar.
I like his vibe.
Yeah, he's got a good vibe. On my turn, I'm gonna choose one of these cards from my hand and play it into a little tableau in front of me. This game calls it a montage. And then I'll activate the effects on that card. So for example, I could recruit, which lets me get more of these goons onto the board. I would take them and I would place them on the eligible spaces.
Smashing.
Ready to go and do a bit of crime. Smashing indeed.
Yep.
They're gonna smash and break windows to steal my new
Smash and grab.
Another thing you'll see quite often on these cards is the ability to shake down, which is to activate the ability of the tile that you're on right now. So here, the nightclub, I have to spend one of my unlaundered money, but I would get another recruit, and I would also get myself one of these little film reels, which will come in handy later.
Are they for blackmail, etc.?
Oh. Now the other thing you can do on your turn that isn't just playing a card is to sort of exhaust one of the cards that's already in your tableau in order to take its effect. So I could use this steel card to heist.
Right.
And you'll see these safes are on some of these locations on the board. They correspond to these cards over here, which are the heist cards. And if you have the prerequisites, so for this one I'd need one of these little tool things, here it is, and I'd need 3 goons on that location, then I would get to get 14 unlaundered money.
Looks like you've just robbed a car dealership.
I have, and I'm proud of it. Now the problem is they'll always present setbacks. You can see these things here, these little icons. If you don't have those matching icons in your tableau, then you're gonna take some bad penalties.
Consequences.
But if you do have the icons, or if you choose to spend one of these little film reels, you can get away with them scot-free. And then you'll draw a new heist, and we'll keep going through these heists until the game ends, trying to get as much money out of them as possible. And if you don't have these icons, then you might want to recruit new crew members from this market over here. Again, these cost these little tools if you want to add them into your hand.
There's always people who want to do crimes.
There's always criminals in the banana stand. And then once you've got some of that hard-earned money, you can then launder it by using the launder action, which then turns it into big points, and it will be the thing that actually gets you all of these cards back into your hand so you can play them anew. And that's basically all there is to it.
But Tom, I can't help but notice that the police are here.
Uh-oh, that's the police, and they don't like crime, quite famously. You'll notice on the score tracker over there, once you do a certain amount of successful crime, you'll cause police to clamp down your operation. And normally there are police on the board that just activate at the end of every round. They sort of waddle over towards this little patrol marker and they try and make arrests. But over time, they'll get little police cars that make them move faster, police vans that make them move even faster, snitchy telephone boxes, and barricades that prevent you from moving. And also, as you do these heists, or as you fail to do these heists, you'll increase on this heat meter. Under 3, they don't care. Just standard low-level crime. They're kind of fans of doing that themselves.
I don't care.
And then as you get higher up, they pay more attention to your criminal activities. They'll try and arrest you if you're in their location.
And
all up to 10.
At this point, like the commissioner's got in touch with them and like somebody, you should really go and do something about this
otherwise
crime.
someone's getting fired. And then they'll actively move towards your location rather than doing their normal patrol patterns, which is pretty lethal. The game sort of takes place over these 3 acts, and also at the end of each act, you're gonna have a turf war, where normally it's just you versus the police trying to compete for these heists between your friends, your other fellow criminals. But at the end of each act, you and them are gonna have a big old bust-up where you will fight each other in each location, and whoever's left is gonna get some extra money.
Little bonuses.
Little bonuses.
Why can't we all just get along?
Why can't we all just do crime together? You have this bit, I'll have this bit, and we'll cooperate our way through Disco Heist Laundry.
Deal.
Good stuff.